Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 4 of the anime series One Punch Man. I swear to God, this show. It's just through the roof. It's sheer madness, insanity from beginning to end, and I just absolutely love every freaking minute of it. It's laughter-inducing, it's action and excitement-inducing, it gets the adrenaline flowing, the juices pumping, and it's just all kinds of awesome. Of course, we open this episode with Hammerhead and his cronies, the Paradisers. And at first, when we're listening to his sort of verbal manifesto, I'm kind of almost in agreement with it. It's kind of the Peter Gibbons Office Space aesthetic of, humankind shouldn't be putting a price over the heads of the barest essentials of living, food, water, shelter, those kinds of things. We should not be expressing this sort of inhumanity to mankind and should be taking care of our own and everything like that. Of course, there are different ideologies and religions and belief sets and all that kind of stuff, countries and and everything from gender gaps to racial divides and all these kinds of things that throw wrenches into the works over and over and over again. But at the core, I'm kind of along with what Hammerhead's saying here. We're taught from birth the idea that we should be so thankful for this blessed gift that is life, and we should treat it like it is such a exalted gift and all this kind of stuff. And yet people have to work, they have to break their backs just to barely survive. I can understand having to get a job and make money for extravagances, like all of this stuff behind me and everything like that. Yes, get a job, earn money so you can have extravagances, but we shouldn't have people who are homeless and suffering and starving all over the world, not just contained to my own country and everything like that. And so I kind of get where Hammerhead's coming from. But then, of course, the other foot drops and we find out they're just criminals. They're super villains. They don't want to work. They don't even want to raise a finger unless it is to steal these super suits they're using and maim anyone who gets in their way, because they are pointedly looking to go after this sort of Donald Trump figure within the city, Zeniru, who is like the richest guy, and he's got a building with a giant golden turd on it. Befitting that they call it the Golden Turd, but they get the directions wrong and they take out the wrong building trying to seek this guy out. And it's like one punch, with one of these suits takes the building down. It sort of goes like boom, like Jenga. It was just absolutely hilarious. And we see that this guy Zanito actually has a sort of bodyguard for hire in the awesome character in this particular episode, Sonic. Speed of sound Sonic, as he would prefer to be called. This, literally speed of sound, that's how fast he is. It's sort of ninja kind of guy. And he decides to take it upon himself to go after the Paradisers, all of which who have gotten the attention of Saitama as well, because they're all skinheads. They're all bald. And he's very fearful that people are going to maybe think he's part of their organization, which does happen as he's traveling down the street trying to go find these guys. People are like, it's a terrorist and all this stuff, because nobody knows who the hell he is, Even when he comes up against Sonic, this guy's like, I never heard of you, But we see that Sonic is lethal as a mother trucker. He's beheading people. He's going back in for seconds, slicing them up like so much bologna and everything like that from a deli. And it's all kinds of insane. And because Hammerhead has such a sort of thick skull undergrowth, I guess, even a dagger to the back of his head, it's just sort of stuck in his head. He can run off and he's fine. And he runs smack dab into Saitama, who's looking for him anyway. All of his entire Paradisers group has been sliced the F up by Sonic. And you have Saitama just kind of like, huh? The dumbfounded look on his face all the time as this guy encounters him. And he's like, basically, he lays the smackdown on Saitama. It does not even budge him. It doesn't move him one iota. It's not just that he has one punch strength that he can level an entire planet with his fist. Almost nothing can affect him. I mean, seeing him thrown around like a rag doll was just because he was preoccupied in the previous episode. In this episode, this punch, he knows it's coming, and it doesn't even scratch the surface. And so you have Hammerhead souping up his suit and everything like that. And he's like, I'm going to test it to this full capacity on you and everything. And one punch just sort of, he doesn't even punch him. He doesn't even smack him like he did with the Mosquito Girl and everything. He just kind of elbows him nonchalantly, and then this whole frickin' suit explodes. And he sends Hammerhead literally running buck-ass naked, the hell out of there. And just when you think things are all said and done, well, of course, Sonic is still in the area. And he's like, "You're bald. You must be one of them." So we have this versus match between them, and Sonic is flipping all over the place. He's going crazy, super speed and everything like that. The only thing missing is that sound effect from the Sonic video game. And Saitama's just like, he's kind of laughing. He's kind of like got this crooked grin like, "Ooh, this is kind of fun. You're going to show me all your moves and test them out on me and everything." And then finally, this guy goes to leap on top of Saitama, who, again, kind of like with the bug guy in the last episode, he's just kind of like looking over his shoulder, "Can I go home now?" And he's just got his hand up. He's not even like going to punch the guy. And he's pulling back, and he nails him right in the sack. We see Sonic go flying. He lands on the ground. His face has turned completely blue. He's like shocked to his very core. Just a sort of love tap on, his naughty bits there. And he's in a whole new universe, So then, of course, because he's been skirting that line, is he a villain? Is he a hero? What is going on here? He kind of threatens Saitama, "The next time I run into you, man, I'm going to take you down. I'm going to become the strongest I can possibly become." And of course, One Punch, he's that kind of guy. He's just like, "All right, train, get stronger." He wants some kind of challenge, because nobody can affect any sort of challenge. He is the One Punch Man. And we see that these two mysterious cybernetic figures actually take out, seemingly, Hammerhead. But, of course, because of his skull, he's still alive. He's probably paralyzed. I think they turned the rest of his body into soup or something. I don't know. But it was just very interesting that. Like, I'm wondering if this is the cyborg Genos has been looking for. And speaking of Genos, we call over to this scientist. I don't know if this is his creator. This particular doctor, Casino, I think is his name. And that's kind of funny. I think it's Sonic Casino level, whatever, in the game. I digress. But he's talking about, he's so impressed with how strong Saitama is, and this doctor's like, "Well, I can see, you just gangbusters over him, and you want to be trained by him and all this stuff. Well, I actually have a suit in the works that maybe, when it's done, might bring you to Saitama's level and all this stuff." And Genos is like, "Whoa," and then, of course, when Saitama's back in his joint, and Genos there, he's like, "Why won't this guy leave? Why are you here again? We're not siblings. Get the hell out of my house," and everything. And they realize, Saitama's greatest sort of fear, the thing holding him back the most, is that fact that nobody knows who the hell he is. And apparently, in this dynamic, superheroes are meant to be registered. They have to have a hero license or whatever to be officially recognized. And anyone who doesn't, who's acting as a superhero, is just a weirdo. That's part of the document, the governmental bureaucratic document. So, of course, he kind of makes a pact with Genos. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. If we both go register, because Genos apparently isn't either, he doesn't feel like he needs to be bothered with it. But, basically Saitama's like, "Well, I'll tell you what. We both go sign up. We take the test together and all this stuff. You'll be my disciple. I'll make it official and all that, whatever." And it was just brilliant. I loved it. I'm very curious to see if Saitama's even going to pass this thing. And, there's one point in the episode, too, that I almost forgot, where he's waking up from this dream. And he's like, "You don't come over to my house and rock, paper, scissors with a booger on your finger." Where the hell did that come from? I don't know, man. But that's what I'm saying. This freaking show, literally, I was just out of it today, and I was so tired. I haven't been sleeping well and everything. I popped this show on within minutes. I'm smiling, I'm laughing, I feel energized. What can I say? One Punch Man. Hell yes. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of episode 4 of One Punch Man. If you've seen it, if you've enjoyed it as much as I did, if you were laughing as hard as I was all through the episode, just laughs, and badassery. And it's such a clever mixture of both, literally, the action and the comedy in the series. And I also have to note, the first guy who goes up against Hammerhead and his Paradisers is this bicycle guy, something like, I don't know, Moomin Rider or whatever. And I freaking loved that guitar riff that plays. The music in the series is not to be sort of, like laughed at. It just really, it was hardcore. That guitar riff that's playing, he saves like a kid's balloon in a tree or whatever. And just that small moment. And here's this background character who's never probably going to amount to much. He gets his ass into him one smack, and they're like, somebody call an ambulance, when he's gone up against Hammerhead. And then he ends up being the one who gets the credit for it all to boot, you know? So like, but the music, the action, the intensity, the raw intensity really, and just the over-the-top insanity of the comedy, all kinds of love for it. And as I say, I'd love to hear from you what you thought of it. So otherwise, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.